Hey there, it's Walt. I remember the moment so vividly. It was a January afternoon, minus 40 on the thermometer, the wind blowing at 55 miles an hour. And it was thundering and lightning, and I couldn't see more than 5 to 8 feet in front of me. I was standing on the highest point in the Western Hemisphere, Aconcagua, 23,000 vertical feet, long past my turnaround time. And the visibility was such that as I looked down, my footprints had been erased in the snow and I couldn't see the way. And I sat down with the stark realization that I was only halfway home. I was so exhausted, so weary, just bone weary, and I felt like I couldn't go on. And more I'm seeing among the people that I work with that bone weariness, that sense that they just can't go on. Leaders of teams, leaders of organizations, people out on the front line, people supporting and taking care of others, healthcare providers. There's just this stark weariness. And it's everywhere. You can feel it just going to the grocery store, this ambient fatigue, this ambient weariness that surrounds us as a result of the stressors and the fear of illness and the suffering of other people. It's just all around us, and it's wearing. It just wears at us all of the time. The metaphor I think about is like that glove compartment light that's on, or the dome light in your car that's on all night long on a cold winter night. It just slowly sucks that energy away. And that's what's happening to so many of us. The energy is just getting sucked away and we feel like we have nothing left, that we can't go on. I was working with a woman in the hospitality industry over the last couple of days, and she said to me, the sense of fear, the sense of upset is just everywhere in and amongst the people that she works with. They're trying to welcome people into their world. They're trying to take care of them. And yet there's so much at play, so many stressors, so much to do to try to keep people safe, to keep themselves safe. And she said to me, I have nothing left. I just don't think I can go on. And she's not alone. She's not alone. But I've learned some lessons over the years that I want to share with you. Number one is, when we think we have nothing left, we often do. One of the things I've realized from ultra distance running and high altitude mountaineering is, even when we come up against that wall and we think there's nothing left, we actually have deep reserves within us that allow us to, if we just dig deep and tap into that place, we can keep going. And when we're going, all we need to do is take one step at a time. I don't know how to run 50-mile or 100-mile races or climb high mountains. I do know how to take a step. And that's all we need to do, really, is just to take a step, one step, and then the next step. One step at a time. You know, cathedrals are built one stone at a time. And so much of what we need to do is manageable in this moment, only one step at a time. Another thing that I really want to invite you to do is to honor the weariness. Accept the fact that we are spent, that there isn't much left in the tank. One of the things that high achievers do is they just drive on. They don't want to acknowledge weakness or feel vulnerability. If we were taking care of other people, when we take care of other people, we embrace them and we help them acknowledge their weariness and their fatigue. Let's acknowledge and and honor that weariness within ourselves. Take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself. Treat yourself with that same generosity that you would treat someone that you love. So honor it, acknowledge the weariness. Another thing that I'd love to invite you to do is even though we're out there taking care of other people and serving other people in the world and doing the work that we're called to do, we do have optional ways of protecting ourselves. We need to draw good boundaries around ourselves, watching our news consumption, watching our social media consumption, watching the toxic environment, the toxic people that we can surround ourselves with on an optional basis. We need to become much better curators of the experiences that we allow into our lives that we don't have to have there. Also, watch how you self-medicate. You know, for me, my best self-medication is getting outside and running. But it's easy. I know. I love a nice Malbec. It's easy to self-medicate with alcohol. And the self-medication tends to be unresourceful. You know, alcohol is a depressant and it can bring you down. I know that in those high stress times of my life, watching that self-medication and curating how we self-medicate is so important. Looking for the resourceful ways to manage the stress and the anxiety. And then the last thing that I'd invite you to do is rest a whole lot more. You know, in high altitude mountaineering, we actually have this rhythm where every 2 or 3 days, we actually have a rest day to allow our bodies to rest and acclimatize and rejuvenate. Now more than ever, we need to rest. We need to sleep more. We need to rest more. We need to go slower so that we can, in fact, get through this period of time, and we are going to get through it. And as we do, we need to take care of that most important asset. That most important asset is you. So, we're going to get off the summit. We're going to get to the finish line. We're going to get home. We're going to get through this time together. And let's do it by acknowledging the stress, honoring the stress, knowing that we have deep reserves within us, and protecting ourselves and those we care about as we go forward. Make it a great rest of the day, great rest of the week. Talk soon.